Elite Pro 8, Bobby Wagner. They currently reside in Florida, and they have 3 boys aging from 26 to 35 or 36. You can keep me honest on that. They've been in this industry for nearly 30 years. They've been with LifeVantage now for about 4, almost 5 years. And so we're going to get to have Bobby share a little bit more of his story with us. As I want you to ask yourself this: when it comes to your own personal belief in the industry, right now, I want you to pause and I want you to write this down. On a scale of 1 to 10, and you can be honest here, you can even put it in the comments if you want. On a scale of 1 to 10, what is your true belief in network marketing? 5, it is a 10, is it a 3? Maybe you literally just signed up, you don't know what this is about. But if you're not a 10, I would encourage you to also write down what's holding you back. You got to write it down. Ask yourself, what specifically is it about this industry that still leaves you hesitant? That still leads you, leading with caution, right? You're still a little bit hesitant on that. So I see Amanda's at a 10. That's awesome. Marcy, 10. Awesome. Tuning in here from San Antonio. So I wanted to at least just kind of kick off with that, right? I wanted you guys to go ahead and think about that, because hopefully over the next 20 minutes or so, 25 minutes, at the end of this, Bobby will hopefully have swayed you on that scale a little bit to be closer to that 10 if you're not already at that 10 already.
For the team out there listening, I'm gonna walk you through a journey, and what we have experienced. So there's no opinion here of the journey I'm going to walk you through. It's all truth, okay? And it's 30 years of what was, what changed, and what is. Okay, that's what we're going to talk about. And incredible journey. And as Holly said before I started speaking, there has never been a better time for anybody to become and get involved as a professional in network marketing. It's the best timing that it has ever been in the history of the industry. And what I'm going to share with you, and my goal for today, okay, with you, is that we all understand what we own and who we are. And this is not for boasting or bragging purposes. This is for internal faith and belief in that you just knowing what you got and who you are. And when you know what you got and who you are, okay, you speak differently to people. You carry yourself differently. There's a confidence that is in you that just there's a signal that you send. You become the side of the magnet that draws people to you instead of the side of the magnet that repels things away. And I want to share that with you from a factual standpoint, because when I finish with you today, and again, it's 25 minutes tops, but what I want you to understand is you should be as proud and of what you do and how you do it for a living and for a career as anybody in the world in anything they do. There's so many noble professions out there. I don't care if you're a policeman, if you're a fireman, if you do accounting, if you're a nurse, if you're a doctor, if you're a lawyer, if you're an engineer. There's just tons and tons of noble professions. And keep this in mind. You do not take a back seat to any of them. You are just as noble, and you have just as much right to be proud of what you do, because there's nothing more important in this world, especially in today's world, okay, than the world we're living in now, where we have the ability, through sharing what we know and what we have, to help people with their health and with their life and their finances and the quality in which they get to live it. There's just nothing more important than that, okay? And you need to know this internally so you carry yourself the way you should, and that your message will be received in the way it should be received when speaking to others. So that's the point of this today, okay? And I'm going to share just some, some facts and figures with you, and what our journey has looked like since we got started in October of 1992. So October of this year will be 30 years, okay? The end of this month, at the end of April this month, will be 4.5 years with LifeVantage. Okay, so we got involved in October of 17. So that's where we are in our LifeVantage journey. So first of all, I want you to understand how far back this industry goes and who some of the early players were and still are. Okay, in particular, the top left, if you're not blown away by the fact that Avon was started in 1886, okay, I mean, 1887, not 1986, okay, 1886. You're talking about going on about 135, 136 years old, okay? Watkins is even older. A lot of people may not quite know that name as well as Avon, but 1868. Now, another popular one, Tupperware, 1946, okay? About 75 years old, give or take. But the big ones, we've all heard of Park Lane, 1955. We've all heard of Shackley. Get this one, 1915 for Shackley. Okay, 107 years they've been out there. See, we all tend to think that Amway started it all. Well, they didn't, okay? They were the first ones to take on the federal government to help legitimize it. They deserve all the credit in the world for that, for helping just legitimize an entire industry. But, they're 63 years old. They're not 140 years old like Avon. So what I want you to understand is you are in an industry that has been evolving, growing, and changing, okay, for over 150 years. And the best of it is yet to come. Okay, we have not experienced the best of it as of yet. Now, what I want you to understand, sometimes when we're describing what we do, okay, we need to use examples that everybody can relate to. So if I use an example of the NFL, the National Football League, if I use, the music industry, Nashville, the entire music industry around the world, and the film industry, Hollywood, and the movie industry, TV industry all over the world, everybody knows what you're talking about, okay? So I want you to understand some numbers here, okay? And just kind of jot this down if you had a piece of paper in front of you. Now, this is from a couple of years ago in the NFL. It was 15.5 billion was their revenue, their sales for the year, okay? So maybe now in 2021, 2022, maybe it's 17 billion now, maybe it went up 10%. Okay, the music industry, just a year ago, was a $23 billion industry. In the film industry, a $41 billion industry, and that goes back to 19. Their number may have gone down. Okay, I'm not sure how much Netflix made up during the pandemic that Hollywood lost. I'm not quite sure how that all worked, but keep this in mind. If you add this all together, the NFL, the music industry, okay, and the film industry, give or take, we're looking at $80–85 billion combined, all three. Okay, all three of them combined. So keep that in mind, okay? Now, as we look at this slide, I'm not going to read all of these to you, but there's a couple key ones that I want you to understand. Everybody knows who Warren Buffett is, okay? It's the middle one on the top. And do you know he's involved with 4 different companies? He owns Pampered Chef, and a lot of people know that, and 3 other network marketing companies besides. One of the wealthiest people in the world has got his hands on or owns 4 network marketing companies. Now, is that because he's smart or because he's dumb? What do you think? Okay, now look in the bottom, okay, the bottom left, and it says the history of network marketing. Global revenues, now this is from 8–9 years ago. Okay, network marketing was 178 billion. Now, remember I told you the NFL music and movies, I said, write that down. That was what, 80, 85? So 8 years ago, we were already double the size of all of those industries combined, right? Combined. Now, if you look at the bottom right, Forbes says direct selling and network marketing is the best kept secret in the business world. Best kept secret in the business world. Now, here's where we are as of 2020. They don't have the numbers in yet from 2021. Our industry globally is a $325 billion industry. So let's see, what is that? About 4 times the size of the NFL, the music industry, and the film industry combined. 4 times their size. There's 250 million distributors worldwide as of the end of 2020. So the reason that I'm sharing this with you is, all right, and I already mentioned 4 times the side of this. I want you to understand no industry gets to evolve like that unless it went through changes as time went by. And obviously changes for the first 100 years, well, I wasn't here, neither were you, okay? But I want to share with you how smart this industry has been, how they have learned, how they have evolved, and why they got bigger, okay? So enter Bobby and April, okay? We entered the industry 30 years ago, 1992. The tools that we used to build it kind of look like this. We put flyers on cars. The phone was still attached to the wall. There was no internet and there were no computers. So like what we're doing now, that wasn't even a pipe dream, never mind doing a Zoom, okay, and anywhere in the world. Anytime we sent anything, it was snail mail, it was the post office. And most of our communication took place with cassette tapes, newspapers, magazines, and fax machines, okay? Well, what I want you to understand is the industry, the network marketing industry, okay, learned from what was going on and how things were being done then. It evolved and made its adjustments, okay, and it got bigger. So I'm going to skip 9 years now, okay? As you can tell by the way I talk, I didn't grow up in Florida. I'm from Long Island, New York. So anyway, we were still living in New York when 9/11 happened, and I can tell you, you know, obviously that was an event that changed the world, certainly changed the United States. But if you lived in and around New York, it didn't change. It just totally flipped things upside down. Okay, I mean, your entire world got turned upside down, and everything that we were doing, you know, stopped and changed, especially air travel and magazine advertising that we had gone into. We had been doing Success Magazine. We had just invested $30,000 as a team in a shared advertising campaign with Entrepreneur Magazine, and their big distribution was at airports. And the 2 weeks that we were in the airports were closed, okay? Because you remember right after 9/11, all the airports were grounded and stuff. So, but the point I'm bringing up here is the industry learned, evolved, and got bigger. See, nowhere did I say the industry went out. The industry went out of business. The industry, no, it always learned, evolved, and got bigger. And then in 2002, just a year later, we shifted and we were using CDs, medical journals. We started doing stuff on the radio. We were the first ones to ever advertise on Sirius XM radio. We were buying Fox News spots on there for $65 for a 60-second spot. Okay, unheard of, okay? You can't even get 60-second spots now. You're lucky to get 15, 30s are tough. But we were using an automated direct faxing system to physicians' offices, sending out 500,000 faxes a month, okay? So a lot of automation started to kick in, and the industry continued to evolve and get bigger, okay? It just kept evolving. It didn't matter that things changed. It didn't matter that what we were using 10 years earlier wasn't relevant anymore. It just didn't matter. It evolved, okay? Let's go to 08, 09, the whole financial meltdown, the stock markets, the banks, the housing industry, the jobs. But while all of that's happening, here we go with real iPhones, smartphones, social media is breaking through, internet selling is breaking through. So the way we were doing things has changed again. In spite of the mess of the financial meltdown that went on, our industry just continued to learn and evolve and get bigger. The industry grew a ton during those 2 or 3 years. Okay, 2016, over 2 billion people were already on social media. Today, it's almost 3 billion people, okay? But 2 billion people from nothing in 08, 09, by 16, 2 billion people on it. Every major retailer that you can think of, every store that you can think of are now opening online stores, getting into the world of apps, and apps are beginning to dominate. Amazon is king, okay? And the buying habits of people have been changed forever. What did it do for our industry? Network marketing, what did it do? We learned, we evolved, we got bigger. See, we always made the adjustments, and along the way, okay, with those adjustments, we got more and more professional. We weeded out, I'm just gonna say the less desirables, okay? They got weeded out. The industry didn't have room for illegitimate business, okay? So it weeded out the people that maybe gave it a black eye or a bad name 30, 40 years earlier, okay? And a lot of that was just from not understanding what it was, but it didn't matter. You either got more professional as the years went by, or you didn't, and if you didn't, then you get swallowed up. So now here we are, 2020, 2022, the pandemic hits. We're told 6, 8 weeks, 2 months turns into 2 years, and ongoing, whatever the heck they're doing these days. The Great Resignation, 5 million people quit their jobs. Social selling and social sharing is not only mainstream, it's the stream. I mean, it's just the way things are done. Amazon got even bigger. Okay, online retail sales just dominate. Look at what goes on, from Thanksgiving to Christmas. I mean, online just kills it. Okay, Zoom is the new king of online presentations. Who even remembers GoToMeeting or webinar or whatever it was? Zoom is king. Okay, Netflix memberships explode. People are forced. This is important, folks. People are forced to reflect and reconsider their lives. All of a sudden, they got time on their hands. They start evaluating the school systems and realize they're broken. How many people just had no idea how many moms were homeschooling their kids? Well, look at how many are doing it now as compared to 3 years ago. See, here's what people found out. Everybody wants to work from home. Everybody wants to make their own hours. Everybody wants flexibility and the ability to determine their own pay. And what happened in our industry during the pandemic? Okay, it learned, it evolved, and it got bigger. Okay, see, network marketing is not the only way, but network marketing has everything that you and I are looking for. And if you and I are looking for it, then everybody you and I know are looking for it too. And it's just a matter of how you and I present it and how we share it. And the information that I've shared with you, and believe me, there's nothing that makes me crazier than when I see people boasting and bragging and trying to shove network marketing down people's throats online. Okay, there's a way to do this, folks, okay? And when you understand that this is an internal thing, you need to just know that you know that you know that you know. You just got to know that. You got to just believe that what you have and what you're doing is as noble And you have every right to be as proud as a professional network marketer as any other profession in the world. I don't care if it's emergency workers, doctors, lawyers, nurses, cops, firemen, women, it doesn't matter. We are as noble and have as much pride and care as much about people as anyone in any other field. And once you have that confidence, once you just got to know it, folks. There's never been a better time to be in this industry. There's never been a better time in the world to help people understand that we have what they've been looking for their whole lives, because they found out what they've been doing maybe isn't quite what they want to do for their whole lives. And we have a solution to that. So I hope you find this helpful. This has been our journey. We have never been more proud of who we are and what we do. I used to call myself, when I got involved, I remember telling Holly this, that, we didn't call it network marketing. To me, that's the chicken name for it. Okay. But it's what everybody does now. I used to just say we were in multi-level marketing, and just look and see if they knew what I was talking about. Well, now we call it network marketing or network marketing professionals. But I still got to look at their face and see if they know what I'm talking about, because half the people I talk to think I got something to do with computers or something, like networking, on computers. So I'm still looking for that expression so that I can then ask, are you familiar with it, or have you had any experience in it? And I don't care if the answer is yes or no. I'm just looking to get them to ask me, what exactly is it that you do? And then we can go from there. So I hope this has been helpful. Holly, can you pop back on and I'll stop the share?
Yeah, no, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Again, the numbers I think speak for themselves. When you look at, you have these industries that generate billions of dollars, and it's funny because if someone says to you, oh, I'm an artist, or I just released an album, you don't question that. You don't question the legitimacy of that. You're like, oh, okay, that's cool. Or what's your song? What's the name of your song? What kind of genre of music is it? You start engaging and asking all these questions and show this genuine interest. But when someone says, oh, what is it that you do? And I'm saying, oh, I'm a professional network marketer. And they kind of like tilt their head and they look at me. And the reality is, it's just the lack of knowledge. It's a lack of knowledge. It's a lack of understanding. Maybe they don't have experience themselves. Maybe their only knowledge is through the experience of someone else. And maybe it wasn't that favorable, right? And so we have this tendency to go ahead and fill in the gaps without really knowing the facts. And it puts us at a disservice. And so I love that you shared some of the other facts that you had shared with us. We were talking about the power of this profession. I want you guys to think about it. And Bobby did bring it up when you talk about the Great Resignation. COVID forced people. It didn't just have a bunch of people just arbitrarily decide, oh, I'm going to reevaluate my life. No, COVID forced people to take a look at their life through a magnifying glass and really determine what was most important to them. Where do they want to spend their time? Where do they want to spend their money? That's where it was. And some of the stats that he had shared with us is that the number of the distributors in the USA increased to 7.7 million, which was over 13% in the last year. Do you think people might be out there looking for something? Right? An average retail sales of $5,208 was earned by network marketers in 2022. Does that sound like significant money? $5,000? Almost 1 million of these distributors are working this full time. This is our gig. This is Bobby and April's gig. This is our full-time gig. This is what we do. But close to 7 million people are doing this part-time. And for you ladies out there, if you want a little more reassurance, right? 75% of network marketers in the US are women.
That's been one of the biggest changes since we got in, Holly. When we got in, it was like 50-50. men and women back in 92. And a lot of that was because it was couples. But what you've seen now is, women just dominated because, and guys, look, this is what I do. I'll never do anything else. But women have just found their profession, their home, their niche, their thing, because they no longer need to make a choice of family, kids, or work. Now they can do it all. And before, there wasn't a way to do it all. So that's why it's like that now. And obviously the income disparity in corporate America between men and women, well, our industry doesn't do that. It's you do it, you get it. That's it.
Exactly. I love it. Again, I mean, we could talk all day, obviously, about this industry, but what I think is most important for you guys to realize and understand is that you are truly a part of a profession. I don't think Bobby could have said it any differently. You are not anything less than, because you chose to do network marketing. And for many of you, I know this is something that you are doing part-time, and there's nothing wrong with that. You can be proud of that. You go to the job, but then you get to do something over on the side that you get to choose who you're working with, how you spend your time, how you're traveling, all these things, something to look forward to, that hope. You get to have everything it is that you want to have. And you can do that through this profession. And again, COVID also, it opened the doors. People are becoming more vested in their health. They're educating themselves on how can I be proactive? How can I keep myself healthy? How can I boost my immune system? Guys, we are in a health industry. We're in network marketing, and we sell health products that make people feel good and look good. It reverses the rate at which we age. I mean, come on. It is a trifecta. All right. So I would ask you this. In the beginning, I asked you to write down a number on a scale of 1 to 10, what your belief was in this industry. And I know some of you shared it in the chat that you were a 10. Now, based off just some of the information that Bobby has shared with you today, where would you rate that? Is your number a little bit higher? Susie Nalen says 19. I love it. We almost doubled her score. Amanda says 100. Right? And even if we didn't sway you that much, it's okay. All right. Again, we're not here to convince you. We're simply here to try to educate you and have a better understanding of the profession in which you're in. And if you still have some reservations, then that's okay. Just be willing to dig into them, because the more you know, that's power. Like Bobby said, that builds confidence. And when you have confidence, you can present yourself with more posture and belief in what it is that you're doing. And then you're going to become bulletproof. When people ask me, what do you do? I'm like, well, no, I don't do that anymore. I used to. But now I proudly say I am a professional network marketer. Whether you're doing this part-time or full-time, it doesn't matter. I want you to be able to say that you are proud to be a network marketer. You are proud of the opportunity that you are afforded to positively change the way in which people live their lives. You cannot put a price on that. You cannot. Thanks, everybody, and take care.